Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for experimental build 3 of update 111 of hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, as you can hear, this sounds different. I finally went back and actually took we had some new authored audio over the holiday break when I was adding all of the Meatmas guns and had never gotten around to implementing. This is a cleaner and more modern operation set from an actual 1911. I definitely prefer it. So this week, I am excited to announce that our giant ammo replacement project is pretty much complete. There's one or two that I need to finish getting that the models are done for. They're not in the game yet, and I need to do some tuning on it, some last fun ones. But this week was shotgun ammo, and to sort of celebrate that, especially because I didn't just replace the cartridge models, but we have actually added subtypes that didn't exist before for 16 gauge, 12 gauge short, and 20 gauge, I decided to add a bunch of shotguns. So let's take a look at them. In 12 gauge, we've got this beautiful B1301 with some nice new handling audio on it. Beautiful. Drop that there. Just a gorgeous piece. Let's not talk about where that first shot hit. So this is in here. There's a couple modern shotguns in the game that are a little old, aren't the prettiest, and I do eventually want to replace that, but in the meantime, I just wanted another sort of long grip, modern semi-auto shotgun like this. It was a little more compact than our M2s, and I just fell in love with the way this one looks. Oh, wonderful. We need to replace that paper. Boop. Moving down to 16 gauge, if we actually go over to it here, we can see that 16 gauge now has all of the different types except for the Swag 12 shells, for obvious reasons. They're like mini grenades. They're only made in 12 gauge. So 16 gauge now has 10 types. So we, of course, have our classics like Freedom Fetty, Cannonball. It's got flechettes now. Let's grab ourselves a flechette cartridge and duplicate that. And for 16 gauge, we've got a little single barrel shorty here to go with it. Not exactly the perfect platform for flechettes, given this is designed to be a more accurate cartridge. Let's actually pull that in real quick, just so I can see those hit locations. Yes, super tight spread for the flechette. So you've got that there. Fun little piece. For 20 gauge, same thing. We've got our new types here. I'll grab some number 4. And I give you the Outback double and over-under break action. I know the DT11s in the game are both not really lookers in terms of how the materials look and dimensionally it's a bit off. I do need to go back and fix those. But until then, we've got this little beaut. And of course, with these more modern models, we actually have moving ejectors and such. And on that topic, actually, I ended up doing some modifications to our very old break action weapon class for this next piece. The 23 by 75 millimeter shells also got replaced, and Stefan did just an incredible job on these. There is now actually both the Shrap 10 and Shrap 25. The Shrap 25 is actually a metal shell. That doesn't refer to the number of projectiles in it, in case you're wondering. It's actually the sort of what it was tuned for engagement range in terms of its loading, and it appears from the sort of cutout cross sections the way the projectiles are actually stacked inside the shell to try to affect their grouping. So to go with that, I've got this beautiful little single shot, well, beautiful in, well, for some measurement of the word beautiful, called the Tulyak. and this is a break action single shot. And I actually did a whole bunch of little changes to the break action class to be able to accommodate this. As you can see here, we've got several sort of pieces here that move. This sort of moves back and this moves down, like so, to be able to open. So for any of you modders who are looking to have more interesting actuation for opening up something in the break action weapon class, I implemented this as generically as I could, in that it's just an array of components that can move in any way as you want, and you can sort of define the angular range of the 4 opening up for how those should move. So this still moves separately, whereas this slide piece moves back and forth based on whether this has opened. And there's the ejector there. So let's go ahead and fire this. Oh wait, and this also has in real life, this isn't just a grip safety, this is a cocking lever that if you don't hold it down will release and you won't be able to fire it. So I've implemented this as a manual hammer, just to give that an extra step, because it feels appropriate for something like this, because apparently that sucker is a little difficult. You know what? I think that just actually responded. Oh, we gotta fix that. It's responding to the code that allows you to flick hammers back when you move your hand back. So if I just go whoop with my hand, yeah, we need to add a bool to prevent that. We've also got a kind of shrimpy stock. I don't know about you, but that doesn't look like that would be terribly comfortable in the shoulder firing a shell of this magnitude. But then again, I don't think comfort was a concern in the design of this weapon. Oh, there we go. Oh, so that will be super fun. I've wanted to get another thing that fires 23 by 75 in for a while, and this was a good opportunity. There are still a few bugs with these, just, you know, like the grip position on this is wrong. It should be long. It's in pistol configuration. Whoops, forgot to fix that before today's update. And this sucker, I think actually if I remove this, should this? Okay. When this first spawns, it thinks it has a stock still. I need to fix that. So, experimental build things, you know, it's always a bug. The other thing I wanted to mention under attachments is that I threw in a couple more flashlights because I tweaked flashlights as a whole this week. So they all have, I adjusted their fall off. Let's actually spawn something to put a flashlight on. So there's 2 new compact flashlights, because some of the sort of pistol flashlights that are in the game are fairly big, so the intensity is a little higher on this, and obviously this is such a bright scene that, well, that still looks good. Yeah, it's too bright down there for us to actually see the effect of this well. But in darker scenes, you'll notice that the range of the flashlight is about twice what it is, and by default, shadows are now enabled on all of the flashlight cones. If you have problems performance-wise with this, I recommend turning off shadows in your options, now that that is a granular option. It wasn't an option back when I implemented the flashlight, so I had disabled shadows just because, you know, the average system when this game came out compared to what it is now is very, very different. So yeah, if we go back to our attachments here, yeah, there's 2 new compact flashlights. That's one of them. This is the other, even smaller. Yeah, let's pull that back there. Looks great. Like so. And folks have also asked for, I think even this morning, someone was asking, where is it? Scout flashlight. Some folks wanted a tactical flashlight for a rifle that was not offset. So let's actually test this in build. I have been trying to fix a bug that has been happening for a while, wherein flashlights end up illuminating the muzzle smoke when you are firing. And the weird thing is, in the Unity editor, this doesn't happen. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be happening here. Toys and tools, utility, flashlight. Go like this. Yeah, so this is one of those weird things. Certain people have reported that flashlights illuminate their muzzle smoke. But as you can see, that doesn't happen to me here. I have no idea what is causing this for some people. I don't know if this is a function of certain settings in the quality options, certain VR headsets even. So if this happens to you, or if you're playing around and you can figure out what is unique about your setup that causes the illumination of your muzzle smoke via these, I would really know, because this is like one of the biggest graphical conundrums of this game. I simply cannot reproduce the phenomenon that other people are getting with these, and it's a little frustrating. Anyway, let's jump over to another scene. Over here in our institution preview scene now, I have been continuing to work on this level, and one of the things that I have been putting in the level that I moved over here into the preview scene just for testing purposes is a couple of the destructible props. Each section of the level is going to have certain categories of destructible props that can pseudo-randomly spawn in parts of the level. So in the case of the hallway here for our government sector, I have a destructible bench, and I have these brutalist Sosig statues that are hanging out here. And these are both of these are destructible. One is way more destructible than the other. If we come on over here to the bench. Come on. Oops, I think the profile might be wrong on it. Oh, do we have to use the rocket launcher on it? I must have. I thought I assigned the profile for that for a wooden door. I could have just misconfigured the object. That would be possible too. We should move further back for a RPG-7 shot. Let's see if this is a bug. Nope, not a bug, just way too durable. That should have taken far more projectile damage. I must have just misdragged the configuration profile from the Sosig. I haven't tuned these for how damageable they are at all yet. I was just trying to get the assets together and actually, UV everything, make all of the manual shards. Oop, that's another bug, I think. Nope. Oh yeah, this is just non-physical on the front. Derp, 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 derp. So yeah, weird. Not that many of them spawned this time. I think we may have another bug. The way it basically works is that there's a set of potential places that each prop can spawn, and then it shuffles that list several times and then spawns up to a certain percentage of the total possible ones that could spawn. In this case, it's about 50% or so. So yeah, I'm seeing some more benches here. I think this is just that this is a very long hallway. Yup, so we've got a bunch of these. So let's take, oh, and before you break them, by the way, this is an environment object. All of these block Sosig view. Let's see, can we, oh, there we go, get our head just barely up onto that to be able to climb on it. Can we get higher? Yoink. Well, let's see. Let's actually set our move mode to teleport. I haven't actually tested this. Yes! Haha! We are on top of the statue. That feels awesome. I actually haven't seen what this hallway feels like from up here. Anyway, let's blow up a statue with an RPG. Blammo. Blasted to pieces. So yeah, that is the plan here with this level, because I know a number of you have been look at my sort of very empty gray hallways sometimes and they're like, is there gotta be stuff in it? My goal in a big way is to try to make as many of those props meaningful and dynamic. So the fact of when this actually gets dynamically placed here, it is carving the nav mesh so the agents don't move through it. Part of it's destructible. The benches do the same thing, and some of these props are going to not just be destructible, but also sort of exploding barrel style. They will be a hazard, and each section of the level will have a unique set of props that are appropriate to the theme of that level. So I'm trying to, it's a lot of effort and just a lot of futzy time to implement extra assets that match the level and such. So I'm trying to get as much mileage as possible out of each one by making sure that something cool happens with them and that they're not just more static geo. This is probably too close for this. Oh, it was not. Excellent. Excellent. So there you have it. Anyway, let's jump out of VR quick, talk about what else is in this update. Yo, out of VR. Pardon the greaseball Anton look today. I was doing a ton of cooking this morning. before getting down to devlog stuff. So I'm a little overheated at the moment. But in terms of what else is in this level, I fixed the SVT40, which I goofed up last week. I was fixing some geo on it, and it turned off the bolt momentarily so I could get a view at what I was fixing, and didn't turn back on the bolt before I saved it. So, whoops! Beyond that, just fixing miscellaneous ammo bugs that I ran into over the course of replacing things. Fixed the top rail collision on the SPOS 15 Tactical, fixed a bunch of just assorted metadata and texture association stuff. I talked about the another API change just to be aware of for modder folk. When I was messing with the break action weapon class, the way it has always functioned is it was sort of hard coded that the latch was only ever rotating on the y-axis. On the up axis, because that's the way all the break action shotguns worked. But the Tuliak doesn't function that way, so I actually added in parameters for that. I tried to default them to the y-axis and to what they prior were. So in theory, based upon how I know mods work, none of your stuff should have been changed or broken by that change. If they did, let me know. I'm sorry if that happened. If your latches suddenly rotate on the wrong axis. I tried to do the change as surgically as possible while still sort of modernizing that code class and giving it what I needed for what I implemented here. So that is about it for this week. Let me know what you think of the changes, the new ammo, those of you who use flashlights. And I mean, flashlights are one of those things that I've never made them gameplay essential in H3, because I know that there's a lot of people over the course of this game who have been like right at the bar of having the hardware to run the game, especially in more complex scenes or with lots of modded content. And so I've always wanted to make sure that there weren't mechanics that utterly required having an extra real-time shadow casting light present, because that would essentially lock certain people out of that content if they couldn't run smoothly with it. But the game has been around now for like 7 years. Everyone's computers on average have hopefully gotten some degree stronger over that period of time. So I think there are certain sorts of performance decisions that I think made sense in 2016, 2017 that I can loosen my belt on a little bit more, especially if it's the sort of thing that folks enjoy. And especially because of the fact that the institution level is going to be our first level that is going to have some genuinely dark spots in it. I think I wanted to give the flashlights a little bit of a tune-up, see what you guys think, make sure that there aren't huge performance problems of having a significantly longer light cone. So let me know what you think. And in general, if once again, to any modders, if you have made a flashlight of your own, I would just recommend using whatever tools you do to inspect in-game assets. Take a look at the new flashlight. The only thing I changed was stuff that was on the physical spotlight component itself, just different parameter sets. Nothing else changed about that. So if you want to bring your flashlight into consistency with those, that's the part that you'd have to look at. So, well, that's everything for this week. I'm going to be continuing to just crank along on the new take and hold level. I have some inertia back on it. Stefan's actually, now that he's done doing ammo stuff, has been helping me with some props for that level so that we can fill it out and I can actually start moving back towards getting that into your folks' hands. So, and the music is nearing, well, the hold music, the new hold music is nearing completion, and I'm just jamming out to it, and I'm waiting till it actually has its final mix on it to give you folks a little tease, a little taste of what's coming. But I'm enjoying it. So anyway, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.